You see, the dynamic failure of a system, Leone, it could really be attributed to an inverted Maslow of hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, a psychologist, once defined the hierarchy of needs of people who ask themselves, what is the meaning of life? So on the 64th anniversary, we're going to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of life for Sierra Leoneans? What does it mean for us to be Sierra Leoneans living in Sierra Leone or in the diaspora? See, Maslow stated that, people need basic needs before they can move up to advanced needs. Let me repeat that. People need basic needs before they could move up to advanced needs. Maslow has 5 categories. The first is your physiological needs, which is a non-negotiable needs and the basic needs of every citizen of Sierra Leone for survival. And this includes food, water, shelter, sleep, and just the basic needs to survive. In Sierra Leone, Sierra Leoneans cannot even find the simple way to charge their telephones. There are no access to electricity. And yet we see the president who is at the self-actualization stage driving a 200,000 electric car. Food is a basic physiological need in Sierra Leone. The government talks about feed Sierra Leone. And yet we don't have enough food for the people. The government talks about light saloon. Yet half of, more than three three-fourths of Sierra Leone get access to an electric grid after 64 years. We don't even have basic, clean, and safe drinking water. And as for safety and housing and shelter, we have so many homeless people. If you compare Sierra Leoneans from 1961 to 2025, we have flipped our hierarchy of needs. In 1961, coming up, most people were looking at self-actualization, self-esteem being what you want to be in life. In 2025, most people are searching for the basics of life to survive, which includes food, water, shelter, and sleep. Maslow talked about safety needs as the next step. After your physiological needs, you need to move up to safety. And I could tell you there is a sense of insecurity and instability in Sierra Leone. The freedom of association and the freedom of speech are directly and indirectly controlled and muzzled in Sierra Leone, including job security, financial security. People don't have that in Sierra Leone because they don't even have a job. And that's why most end up with kush or in prostitution or end up in scams and 419. Because the system itself has created this sense of insecurity and instability for people, that people have to struggle to move from the physiological needs to safety needs. Most people live and die in stage 1 of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, fighting for survival, for food, water, shelter, until they die. Others who move to the next level suffer from a sense of security and insecurity and stability. joblessness, financial insecurity, and another 90% of the people never get to pass this level and end up dead at 60 or 64 because of the stress of trying to climb this ladder. Where we'll find our politicians now in level 3, which is love and belonging needs, where we see Maslow talks about people with social connections, friendships, intimacy, a sense of belonging. We saw that this year with the Prince of Wales. That's Maslow's third level of hierarchy. Prince of Wales, with their centennial celebration, was able to provide that sense of belonging, that sense of friendship, that sense of connection. But it is so few and far between for the average Sierra Leoneans because they struggle every day and with corruptions and corrupt practices and politicians in power who ostracize the grassroots, then push them to the side. They only need them for elections. After election, they say you then are you corner, then are you village, then are you town, then are you district. We go come back to you in 2028. Sierra Leoneans no longer attain this level. It's reserved for politicians, their cronies, and family members. And as we move up and talk about Maslow's hierarchy of esteem needs, this is where you find self-respect, confidence, achievement, and recognition from others. If you have to struggle every day to find food, water, shelter, you can find self-respect. You're not able to find confidence. You cannot achieve what you want to achieve, therefore you cannot get recognition from people. If you ask the average youth in a salon, which you want to be in 2025, they say, I want to be president. Because they see the president, they drive a Mercedes, Maybach. They see the president, they drive a BYD U8 electric car. They see the president with a sense of wealth and affluence. They see the politicians, them, who seem to exude that self-confidence, self-respect and achievement and recognitions from their colleagues. Is this what we want for Sierra Leone? Most Sierra Leoneans live and die and never get to the level of self-respect, never get to the level of confidence, never being able to achieve what they want to achieve, even with academic acumen, never been able to expand their businesses to be recognized because the country is only for the few. And then in the last stage of Maslow's hierarchy, which is self-actualization, people who reach the highest level and the full potential, I could guarantee you 95% of Sierra Leoneans never reach self-actualization needs, where you reach your full potential, you pursue your personal growth and contribute to something larger than yourself. Even for people like us in the diaspora, we have struggled to get close to self-actualization in the diaspora. But whenever we think of Sierra Leone, we think of what we've left behind. We think of what we could do. We think of how we could contribute to something larger than ourselves, which is our country, the green, white, and blue. It erodes on our self-actualization. We are truly not fulfilled, regardless of how many degrees we have, how many houses we have overseas, what titles we hold, how much money we get. As Sierra Leoneans, we never reach self-actualization. As British citizens or American citizens, probably we do, but we do not. So where do we go to help as we build to move into 2026? 2026 will be the 65th anniversary of independence. We know we failed for 64 years. We're beginning to see bright lights in infant mortality, in life expectancy, in celebration of schools and anniversary, but we need it for the whole country. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, it's about leadership. It's about leadership. We see politicians who are corrupt. Now sack them, sack them. The ambassador to Guinea should have been an example. The immigration officer should have been an example. If I ask you a question, probably it would answer the reason why I say it's leadership. Name one high-ranking official, that they don't charge and convict for corruption as Sierra Leone in the last 5 years. Name just one. It's not. And yet we know how corruption prevalent in our country. But like I always say, we Sierra Leoneans, we are resilient. We Sierra Leoneans, we are determined. If we could shift infant mortality rate, if we could shift life expectancy, there are lots of other things we could shift. So as we move in to recognize and to reflect on this 64th anniversary of our independence, let's think about the way forward. And for me, the way forward is OHAJOME. You know, many times you hear me introduce all my speeches by saying OHAJOME. OHAJOME is like the Arusha Declaration. For me, what it means for Sierra Leoneans. The H, the first H in OHAJOME is for hope. The hope for what we want to become as a nation, for what we want to become as a people, for what we want the world to see. The O is for opportunities that will come away and how we manifest it to make a difference for our beautiful Mama Salon. The H is for happiness, which Maslow talks about, that we move from our physiological needs right up to self-actualization, then we become happy. The A is for accountability, that those we found incompetent will make sure the full hand of the law grab them by the hand and foot and throat, so that the youths would see what accountability means. The J is for justice, which we don't see in present-day Sierra Leone. We don't see it. And that O is for outreach for every Sierra Leonean, to reach one another and say, we as Sierra Leoneans, we can do it. The M is for meritocracy. Let the right people do the job. Not to you paddy, not to you tribesmen, not to your political party. And this is why we have incompetence and we lack leadership. Because if we put people in place by merit, things would go right. And when they fail, we hold them accountable and justice takes its course. That's what we need to do. And last is the E, which is empowerment. We need to empower all Sierra Leoneans. We need to empower the children of Sierra Leone, like 8-year-old Pekin, Nogebele. We need to empower the women of Sierra Leone to make them feel that self-respect and self-actualization that Maslow talks about, for them to reach up to that level, that pyramid of esteem needs and self-actualization. We women them, we girls them. We used to say, hands off our girls. Now I think all man don't lay hand on the girls. It must stop. And we need to empower all our youths to make sure they become innovative, transformative, and visionary youths. And empowerment is what does that. And it is your leader and leaders at all levels, centralized and decentralized, will for take Sierra Leone to the next level. And I believe that we can do it. And as soon as we prepare for the 2028 election, I want to ask our leaders them if they get OHAJOME Because any leader will not bring OHAJOME to you, not mean well for Sierra Leone. In the end, then go end up driving an electric car where you not get electricity. In the end, then go end up driving a Maybach Mercedes Benz where you know waka you the waka. In the end, then go send them picking them come overseas and then say you get quality education at salon. In the end, then go light their house with solar system and then tell you say with a light salon. In the end, then go eat good beef, they eat fish, they eat goats, they eat all kind of thing, and then tell you we go feed salon with chaff rest. This is not the Salion we need. Salionians, Salionians, let we ask for better. Let we speak for better. And as the election they come in 2028, let we begin for think wisely. All is not lost yet. If the leaders that are in power right now, President Bio and his cabinet, they have 3 years to turn it around. They can do it if they want to. They can change Sierra Leone if they want to. Leadership is all we need. So to you I say, OHAJOME on this reflective 64th anniversary. Some may celebrate it because they've reached high esteem and self-actualization. Others go ask, waiting the Independence Day for, because they struggle for their physiological needs, basic survival, and safety. To you all I say, God bless Sierra Leone, OHAJOME.